Hey y'all, Jeep and Bubba here, and today I'm going to be installing the CavFab Alpha Series 3-link on my Jeep Cherokee. And I'm going to tell y'all what, I'm excited. I'm not going to get into the huge debate in this video over short link versus a long arm kit or a short arm kit, but there is a lot of technical aspects to it. I'm going to do a video later, and I'd love for you guys to watch that. It'll be on my Jeep and Bubba YouTube channel. But today, I will tell you a couple awesome points that got me excited, drew me to this kit right here. The big thing about it, made in the USA. Y'all know me, I'm red, white, and blue. Now, another thing that's awesome about it, this is completely a bolt-on kit, which for me, I'm not a welder. There's some of my welds on here, and they need grinding. But this is a completely bolt-on kit. The nice part is too, they use really good grade 8 hardware. It's zinc coated, it's quality stuff. And that's what drew me to it as well. That's one of the reasons I work for JCR Off-Road, because it's quality product made in the US. Same thing here with CavFab. Now, another nice thing is they're using Johnny joints with it, which I like, I'm a big fan of. There's really a lot that brings you to it. They've really took the time to engineer this and not just throw a kit together. One of the great features is once the kit's bolted in, they have a center section that can be unbolted so that you can actually remove the transmission or the transfer case if you need to do something in there, like you're swapping transfer cases or whatever it may be, and you're not gonna have to unbolt the entire kit. So that's actually a huge feature. It's actually a fairly simple kit to install, so it's something you could do, in your driveway if you have a day or half a day and a buddy to help you, and not everything's rusted in your Jeep. What we've already done here is, thankfully everything wasn't that rusted in my Jeep, and we've uninstalled the lower control arms that are in here, gone in and take the wheels and tires off. Everything's gonna inhibit us, and I've laid out all the parts that they sent me on the ground. I've got the bolts laid out, all the hardware, and that's important with any part you're installing, that you wanna go ahead and make sure you have all the hardware. We're all people and we're all humans, and we make errors and send sometimes the product out the hardware. Thankfully CavFab had their cup of coffee for the day, and everything's here. Everything is loosely put together. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and mock it up on the Jeep, make sure everything lines up perfect, and then we're gonna start drilling holes. Here we go. I've loosely installed all the bolts onto the side pieces that go into the center cross section. Just done that loose so I can just mock everything up, and that's an important thing too. I was talking about earlier, making sure you have all the hardware, mocking everything up is important as well. Just make sure everything lines up perfectly, and again, in this case it did. What I've done is the rear 2 bolts, so going towards the back of the vehicle, there's 3 bolts that go into the bottom of the unibody. The rear 2 I've already gone ahead and loosely installed. Make sure they lined up perfectly with that front hole. Now the front hole, the very front, forwardest hole, is that a word, forwardest? Yeah, I think so. So the very forwardest hole, you're gonna actually be drilling that out and tapping it and using some supplied hardware. And they actually do give you replacement bolts in here, nice washers and everything, all grade 8. So I've done that on both sides. Everything is mocked up perfect. Everything goes right into place. We kind of threw our arms up, our control arms up to see what they would look like. Looks like everything's gonna work perfectly. We're excited to get this buttoned up. Hey boys and girls, it's me, Doc Hawk. No, I'm just kidding, it's Jeep and Bubba. I got these fancy dancy safety glasses on because you know what? It's cool to have both of your eyes. Just ask Corey Giffing's dog. All right, I'm gonna drill this out with my handy dandy safety glasses on. I learned how to tap things from an old man from South Korea, whose name is One-Eyed Phil. And I've never seen anybody tap anything as good as old One-Eyed Phil. They call him toe tapping. One-Eyed Phil from South Korea. I made that out loud. Now once you have this drilled and tapped, what you want to do is get the bolt they included. Go ahead and double check, make sure everything works out well. And run it up just a little bit. Check it, no slop. That thing is gonna be real good. Now I'm gonna do the same exact thing on the other side. And just for time, I'm not gonna show that. Once I do get that done, we'll go ahead again, mock everything back up, start drilling for our unibody tie-ins. Okay, so what I wanna do here, now that I have this, everything tightened up. I have all these bolts completely tight. I want to drill 2 holes, one here and here, and these are going to tie this whole cross member into the unibody even better. So as a reference point, now that these are tightened, you can either use a punch or something like a paint pen. I'm going to do a punch here. You can do it either way. What you want to do is just get it as center as possible. You don't have to do a lot of math or nothing. We're not building a clock. Just give it a good whack. Or, obviously if you're doing a paint pen, you can still mark it. I like to do a punch and then kind of lighten the mark up. I already punched this side. And it just gives me a good reference. I'm gonna drill, take this back off. I'm gonna leave this middle bolt in, just pull this off here, this bracket, and then drill these 2 holes out. Then we'll reinstall this, tighten these 2 bolts, tighten the bolts on the outside of this unibody tie-in. We'll tighten all the bolts up on our cross member. We'll tighten, bolt it right up to the, well, take your nuts and tighten them up to the bottom of the transmission. And then all this cross member is done. The only thing left for us to do is to put our arms in. So, we'll continue. All right, well, I just finished this side right here, and now we're gonna move on to the other side. All right guys, a little tip here. Since we've drilled these holes here, obviously you notice that there's some exposed metal here. I don't know about you guys, but where I live in Michigan, salt likes to get in there and cause a little rust. So hitting it with a little bit of paint, that never hurt nobody. Also, another great idea, when you throw these bolts in here, or like when you're putting the Johnny joints into the arms, they're 2 different metals, 2 unlike metals, so it's nice to put some anti-seize in there. That's gonna help it to make a nice buffer between the 2 metals, but also when you're pulling it back out, it's gonna make things a lot easier if you ever were to need to unbolt this or to adjust your arms down the road. It's really gonna save you. So a little paint, a little anti-seize, you're good to go. Okay, so you may be wondering what this contraption is that's I've got kind of bolted on up here. So in order to do this upper control arm, the neat thing CavFab did, I didn't even know this about the kit, I'm learning it now, which is pretty cool. They include a part made by Johnny Joints that replaces that factory upper bushing, which is a rubber bushing. So what you're gonna need is this ball joint press, and you can use it to get the old one out. You can kind of Google, I think Bleepin' Jeep Matt might have done a video that shows you how to get this out, but it goes in the same way it comes out, pretty much it just presses in. I've just pressed it in. I'm gonna put this upper control arm in and then throw in my lowers. All right, here we go. So I got desperate and recruited some help. Last night I didn't get everything done. My Falcons got on. It was time to drink some cold beer, eat some chicken wings and some pizza. And so we're in New Duds today, finishing this up. Got maybe an hour's worth of work, and recruited my good buddy and coworker Corey Giffing here, who's, as you can see in the background, cutting off the original lower control arm mounts because they're just gonna be in the way, right?
Well, yeah.
And so we don't lose an eye, we got our handy dandy safety glasses on.
That's right.
Alrighty, back at it. What's up guys? We're at the end of this install. We've prepped, we've painted, we've bolted everything on, we've grinded. Overall, awesome install, awesome product. Now we're gonna test to see what we can really do on this RTI ramp. I think it's going big.